just mentioned potential land strikes. Can you elaborate anything on that? Are you talking
Yeah,
about
I'll elaborate. If they come in through a certain country or any country, or if we think they're building mills for whether it's fentanyl or cocaine. I hear Colombia, the country of Colombia, is making cocaine. They have cocaine manufacturing plants, okay? And then they sell us their cocaine. We appreciate that very much. But yeah, anybody that's doing that and selling it into our country is subject to attack.
So not necessarily just Venezuela?
No, not just Venezuela, no. Venezuela's been very bad.
President Trump answering questions at the White House, signaling that land strikes will soon commence inside Venezuela. All the strikes so far by the United States are on waters, targeting boats they say are conveying and transporting hard drugs into the United States. These substances will end up in the streets of America. Now you might be wondering how this concerns Nigeria. A lobbyist is now pushing that Donald Trump and the United States treat Nigeria and Tinubu the way they are treating Maduro and Venezuela. Writing on his verified X handle while quoting the post of Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Let's see the statement of Marco Rubio. He said, Maduro is not the president of Venezuela and his regime is not the legitimate government. Maduro is the head of the Cartel de los Soles, a narco-terror organization which has taken possession of a country, and he is under indictment for pushing drugs into the United States. So based on this logic, this lobbyist named Elias posted this. I agree with Secretary Marco Rubio, who is a great Secretary of State, regarding Venezuela and Maduro. The same can be said of the President of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, who has a prior history of being investigated for heroin trafficking in the United States. If President Tinubu continues to be complicit in the genocide currently taking place in Nigeria, a country also increasingly adversarial to U.S. interests, then he should be treated as we are treating Maduro, and a Venezuela-style solution should also be considered for Nigeria. Concurrently, U.S. political support for Biafran independence can further advance U.S. interests while providing a safe haven for Nigeria's Christians. While many might focus on the fact that the man might be pushing for Biafra, that is lobbying for them, that's not the main subject. What should bother you? Because right now you are still a Nigerian. What should bother you is the fact that he is making reference to Tinubu as someone that was investigated for drug trafficking in the United States. So it's so degrading as a Nigerian to see this kind of thing in the international community. People are talking about your country and they are making reference that your president was a former drug lord. That's someone that was indicted. He forfeited money to the United States government to the tune of $460,000 being proceeds of drug trafficking. So out of all the millions of Nigerians, out of more than 200 million Nigerians, it is this man that is representing us. It's such a shame. That was why many people campaigned hard against this man. No matter his knowledge, no one is indispensable. Nigerians shouldn't have reduced the state to this level, reduced our country to this level that a man so tainted will find himself in power and be lording himself over us. So this is the main subject matter, not just the fact that Donald Trump is being lobbied to give Nigeria and Tinubu the Venezuela and Maduro treatment. Not just that, but all the disgrace at the international level. It's so shameful. Hardworking Nigerians who are excelling in many fields across the world to be labeled this way just because the worst of us are the ones in charge of affairs. The worst of us are the ones making decisions for the best of us. How is that possible? How can the country grow this way? It doesn't work. Look at other countries. The worst of their citizens don't lead them. Yes, they always choose the very best because they want to excel. If you're talking about best, you can say it is relative. What someone might deem good or best might be different depending on the person making the choice. But the reality remains that when you compare Nigerian leaders to even neighboring African countries, you will see that the lowest of the low, the worst of the worst, are the ones in charge of affairs. Now, to those who are always quick to shout, Nigeria is a sovereign country, all citizens must stand together, love your country, be patriotic, don't allow any foreign power, including United States and Donald Trump, to invade Nigeria, blah, blah, blah. Are we not already seeing the benefit of Donald Trump's pressure on Tinubu? Are we not seeing it? Be honest to yourself. Tinubu has been in power since 2023. He has never deemed it fit to appoint ambassadors across the world, but just because of the pressure from Donald Trump, that ultimatum forced him to do it. Yes, we know that most of the appointees are not supposed to be there. Most of them are supposed to be in prison. That's a fact. But at least he did it. He has now appointed ambassadors to represent Nigerians abroad. This was something that he couldn't do all along. He has also made many changes in the security architecture. Of course, you can see his hypocrisy. Someone like the former CDS, General Musa, he shouldn't have allowed him to leave. If he was able to extend the tenure of the IGP, why didn't he extend the tenure of General Musa? Yes, when he's supposed to benefit Nigerians, when Nigerians are supposed to benefit from a service of an individual who you can say is doing all the right things, he's pulling all the plugs. He has talked about these issues many times. The other time, Musa said that they will do their own and the politicians will do their own. That is not just about fighting the physical war against the insurgents and terrorists, that politicians must make policies to alleviate poverty so as to reduce the number of people that are going into crimes. This is common sense. While he was the CDS, he also suggested fencing Nigerian northern border with Niger, Chad, and the eastern side with Cameroon.
Border management is very critical. I've had countries, because of the level of insecurity they had to fence their borders. I know sometimes when you mention, people say, no, it's impossible. Pakistan fenced 1,350 kilometer border with Afghanistan. That was the only time they had peace. Saudi Arabia and Iraq, 1,400 kilometers fenced completely. Can we start thinking of fencing our borders? We have 1,500 kilometers with Niger Republic, 1,900 kilometers with Cameroon. Chad is there. All over us, surrounded by Francophone countries, and the Sahel is heating up. If we don't do anything, when the Sahel falls, it is Nigeria that everybody is interested in. Because they believe Nigeria is huge, Nigeria is big, Nigeria is rich.
While this might sound very audacious, the most important thing here is that he is proffering solutions. All we need in Nigeria are solutions to solve all our numerous problems, especially insecurity. So, across the political divide, General Musa is seen as one person that is making effort. But now, Tinubu has removed him from the chain of command and appointed him the Minister of Defense. It doesn't make sense, like already said. That's why many people are saying that maybe this was part of the conditions given to Tinubu by the US. How do you remove a man who is performing? Yes, Nigerians wouldn't even say anything if he extended his tenure. What Nigerians need are results. But now he has removed him from the chain of command. You can say once a general is always a general, but remember that there are many commanders in the army that disobeyed his command while he was there. Yes, and these people are still there. They refuse to fight that war the way they want. Look at the complaints from many soldiers. They keep saying that they are not allowed to fight the war as a war, that they ration bullets. They do a lot of things. They prevent them from invading or fighting the way they are supposed to fight. So these are the issues. The military administratively are under the Ministry of Defense. But when it comes to other issues, security, everything, they report directly to the CNC. They don't report to the Minister of Defense. Minister of Defense is like an advisor to the president. Yes, he's out of the chain of command. So these are the issues. You see that hypocrisy. When it benefits Tinubu and his cronies, they extend tenures of security agents. Look at the police IG that many Nigerians see as not performing like others. The police under him intimidated, assaulted protesters, shot tear gas at them, unarmed protesters who were just protesting against bad governance. Under the IGP, the police arrested and detained minors for more than 3 months before charging them to court. Now, General Musa, that everyone across the political divide, like already said, sees as someone that is at least making an effort. Nigerians are aware, judging by the complaints of many soldiers, that they are not allowed to fight the war as they are supposed to do. So Nigerians are aware that people in the military, especially the people in the command, people that command the troops, the brigadier generals and all that, some of them have their own agendas, whether religious or ethnic agendas. So they don't actually carry out the command the way they are supposed to carry it. They don't obey even their senior officers.
I thank every one of us that is here today for being here and for all the support and for refusing to give in to terror. No terrorist will overcome us.
So making General Musa the Minister of Defense wouldn't change much. It is an advisory role. If he really wants to make a change, he should listen to all the soldiers, some that have left the military out of frustration, all the complaints they've been making all the years. He should listen to them, and all the commanders that prevented them from fighting the war the way they are supposed to fight it. All of them must face disciplinary measures and even sacked, because it is sabotage against your country. How do you tell your troops not to fight people who are invading and massacring Nigerians? It doesn't make any sense. So they should start there. Once all these types are weeded out, all these commanders that have agenda, they are sympathetic to the terrorists, all of them should be removed from the military. When that is done, the fight against insecurity will end under 1 month. And the Minister of Defense, Matawale, should never have been made a Minister of Defense. What are his antecedents to qualify as a Minister for Defense? It doesn't make sense.
You know, it's not all of them are criminal. Not all of them are criminal. Because if you know, or maybe if you investigate what is happening or what makes them to take those laws into their hand, some of them sometimes were cheated by so-called Nsakai, and I have to ban completely the Nsakai in my state.
So people can see that Tinubu is not ready for governance. All the people he appointed, including the newly appointed ambassadors, they wouldn't qualify even to head family union meetings, not to talk of holding positions in our country. So all this, their intentional incompetence should stop. Nigerians are tired of it. They should focus on governance. If they cannot deliver that service to Nigerians, they should all resign. Yes, it doesn't make any sense. You are occupying a position, you don't want to do the job of the position you are occupying, and you don't want to give way for other competent people to do the job. Every day you hear mass defections to APC, a governor that is decamping to APC. How does that in any way solve all the numerous problems Nigerians face on a daily? Nigerians want results, not all these politics. And you can see where all that politicking have brought Nigerians. It's so shameful that people who are crying for sovereignty, urging Nigerians to make peace with each other and unite, they never talk about justice. Without justice, there can never be peace. People never talk about all the injustice in the system. They abandon all that and start telling you, make peace. Make peace with who? So these are the issues. It's also very shameful how low they've brought Nigeria. Currently, the US military is flying reconnaissance aircraft in Nigeria. A sovereign country called Nigeria, we cannot secure our own country, we cannot protect our citizens. And it's not as if we don't have money or we don't even have such reconnaissance aircraft. So why are we not doing the job ourselves? So you can see Donald Trump is now doing the job of the opposition. What the opposition is supposed to do in Nigeria, Donald Trump and the United States lawmakers are doing it for them. They are now mounting serious pressure on Tinubu to do the right thing. Tinubu would have done worse if he were to be in opposition today. That is the reality. He did worse when he was in opposition, not to talk of if he finds himself in opposition today and the person in power is busy dishing out all the hardship he's dishing to Nigerians. He will do worse. He will even lead many protests to challenge him. But here we are, the opposition members are not active the way they are supposed to be. They should be encouraged to be very active, to take advantage of what Donald Trump and the US lawmakers are doing. They should be able to milk this to the last. This is a very huge opportunity for them to challenge Tinubu. Thanks for watching.